All right, that's it here. Head out. But don't we have? Do we have to leave? So we're here. I have no idea what Searing Fall is. Searing Falls. But I don't think that's where we need to go. We need to go to the Best Defiance Bay. Anything for Searing Falls? Cliffs? Is that Searing Falls actually? Supposed to be over water and I don't see water, so let's not go there right now. Let's head out. Let's go east. Okay, really quick. Um, all right. Do we have a side scrolling? Man. Character zoom. Reset. Fine. Okay. Maybe this is the cliff? Adele Andelin Bridge. 4 hours. That's fine. How much time left? 18 hours. Save it. We don't know what we'll find. But there's a bridge, so I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose. These days, it's rare to find folks who'll do so much for strangers, huh? If you need an inn for the night, Goose and Fox has the softest bed and the best ale.
Keeping an eye out.
I feel like it defeats the purpose to sneak on a bridge. Have you been to the expedition hall yet? You might find your type of work there. Okay. More. No. The Crucible Knights have been warning everyone to stay out of the catacombs. They're not safe anymore. If you're a scholar, you want to visit the Hall of Revealed Mysteries. Where is my... I did this. Where is... Here we go. All right, before we do that, let's do some more talking. I have some questions.
If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skinning your knuckles on the wrong door.
Okay. Just want to make sure I've done every. Oh, that's not it. What was it? Why are we supposed to meet? We did. To put the truth in them. What truth? What kind of truth? Either you're a dry field in need of harvest burning. He frowns for a moment, his eyes flat. Or you're lost to the darkness. Either way, you can see differently from others. He gives a half smile, then his tone becomes accusing. I can tell by the way you notice the stuff. Oh, I did read this. So one is done. Your eyes trace the path that I can see.
The cost of troubling me seems to worry you little.
Number 2. Do you know anything of the dry wood and the surrounding nations? Drywood's the best of them, still has spirits if a land can have one. It's a place where a man can walk freely, even make new roads, and that's a rare thing in this world. Its generations, however, are damned, so no new footfalls may spell an end to it. Do you mean the Hollowborn? Yes, Ethos last stabbed at revenge after he was ended. He frowns. Ethos was the god of rebirth, and his light does not fall on the dry wood. I've heard some claim it's his doing, his death. It's closed the halls to new souls. He scoffs. I don't believe it. The problem is closer than that. And as always, it involves women and men, and they're always circling, within and without. The Valiant Republic reared Ceres, the Saints' War, one big bladed spiral, shredding everything around it. How do you feel about the Valiant Republic? He snarls. Ooh. Fortune seekers garbed in rows of office, manipulators, traitors and traitors all. What about Reed Ceres? His face flushes, and a sheen of sweat forms on his brow. Too many adjectives to that so-called nation. Civil unrest, economic collapse, all tinder, just needing the right spark. You sure like to set things on fire. Some farmer shows up, takes a god into himself, then takes a crown on his head. This divine kingdom he tries to set up goes about as well as you expect. A trickle of sweat runs down the side of Durance's cheek and sinks into his spirit. Why is this? Oh, so why is Red Ceres Durant father by Red Ceres topic? I wonder why. Suddenly, the population of heretics goes up by about half and again, and Eothos starts turning his blood-stained gaze to every blasphemer he can find. Cleaning house is one way to put it. His face darkens. His eyes narrow. Courage is another. Put them and their god in their place, though, with enough force to kill that damn country, too. Not a supporter of the country of Red Ceres? Alok passes by casually, muttering under his breath. Surely you know where this is going by now. It's not a country. It's a gathering of cowards, a deer of puppets. They used to be an optimistic bunch, a bright bunch. Durance laughs at Bright. He laughs at Sprite as if a private joke was their undoing. Should have embraced their misery without letting a farmer lead them to a brighter ruin. Almost Eothas puppets too put an end to that. They dangled on his strings. Waidwin dangled on theirs. They would never have had any success on the battlefield had not their god come down. The Saints' War, he snarls. Needed to call on their god to have a chance. Regions in the history, he grunts. Alright, so that's the second one.
I suspect the answers will seed more questions.
So I want to know more about you. Where are you from?
Where I hail from? From one of Margren's fires. A cathedral. Ashfall, made of blackened trees.
His hand tightens on the staff for a moment, then relaxes.
I studied the scriptures there. The fires carved into the land, the trunks of the burnt trees, and in the factories where the rifles and cartridges were shaped. All are chapels in other devotions.
Other devotions. He nods. For a migrant, any fire is enough for worship, physical or not. A blacksmith's anvil, a craftsman's bench, all arenas where fire is waiting to be born. He snaps his finger. It just needs a spark, like an alchemical fire, or a spark to cartridges, to speed them to their purpose. To their purpose? Well, their purpose then. It was many thens ago. He tilts his head, thinking, scratches his beard. Beard was a little brighter than now. But yes, cartridges. Guns all had cartridge. Okay, guns all had purpose, and that purpose was punching holes in mages and letting their pompous air hiss out. He gives a half smile, then a nod. Woke their kind right up and kept them staring at the ceiling in the dark instead of sleeping, that's for certain. Pompous air indeed. Aloct rolls his eyes. A little violence as in accounting, an answer for unchecked power. Well, Margaret gave an answer for that. Margaret put soldiers and mages on equal footing. He nods again. Mages were troublesome in that time. Firearms made every man a mage, and a caster's pretty arcane shield was little match for them. It turned each commoner into a beast that could spit fire. It leveled the field of battle, that's for certain. Made many a mage a grave. Tell me about Ashfall, he grunts. You're more curious about it than most of Margaret's faithful. Over the cathedral. What is the cathedral like? Massive, beautiful, blessed by the goddess. Flame cannot strike it twice. His eyes travel to his ashen staff, studying the etchings beneath. Tunnels and chambers, bellows and fire pits, and many of their faithful, looking for a means to bring fire to the world. He turns his gaze from the staff to you. Guns, explosives, alchemy, all of these are our holy symbol, and we are eager to share. The staff of yours seems like a holy symbol. It's as if you swallowed a gadfly nest. Keep silent and keep them to yourself, lest you tire yourself before the next campfire. That's fair.
Yes?
Anything? Nope.
Ready, Watcher.
What about you? I don't know if he talked to you. Tell me about Idumak. She scratches behind his ears, and he wags his bushy tail. A good hunter, but not much of a talker, and that's been fine by me. When we hunt in Nasatek, we almost always brings our foxes with us. They help us track and flesh game, and they're fearless defenders against bears and snow leopards. Clever Idumak has always been my favorite. I want to know more about your homeland. Nasatek? She rubs her nose with a broad finger. It's a big island in the middle of the Deadfire Archipelago, just off the coast of the White That Winds, tundra mostly, with a few snow-covered forests in the warmer parts. Most of us live in a fairly small village, by standards here anyway. Mine is Muzak. What about Muzak? We're a tundra village. To an outsider's eye, we're probably not much different from the others around us. But our elders have stories that go back hundreds of years, epic hunts, battling with neighboring villages. Surgeons across the sea, we share these stories too. Who lives there? Mostly Edutanic, like me. People here call us real dwarves. Migratory clans of Glimfelin from the White That Winds. Sometimes spend the colder seasons on Nasatek. But we don't see too many other foreigners who can tolerate the elements. She pats a weather-bronzed arm. Those of us born in Nasatek like to say we have a harder layer of seal skin just beneath our flesh. What's it like? She shrugs. Cold, but not as cold as the white that wins. The few kids who visit Nazitik find it sparse, but there's plenty to sustain a village if you know where to look. She takes the items off of her callous fingers. We get hides and meat from the caribou, seals and small whales, bones too, which makes fine bows and arrowheads. Community is important to us. We survive or perish together. So everything we do, every week-long hunt, every wall we build is for the village. Okay. So what do you do in Nazitik? I'm a lone hunter. I stalk game across the tundra with some of the other wives. We usually hunt caribou and oxen, but we find hares and birds too. It's a good and respected position. To see so much of Nazitik in the company of my friends and sisters, this is one of the pleasures of life in Musuk. All right, let's move on.
Following your lead.
Um,
It's good to be on the road again. A wanderlust is nothing rare in the people of Rauatai.
Rutai.
But often I think myself alone in loving the land as much as the sea. What shall we see next, I wonder?
How are you holding up? I'm ready if you are, he grins. Tell me about Rutai.
Ah, Rauatai.
Rutai.
Shall I describe the pearl-white sands, the sapphire waters, the multi-hued tiles of the rooftops, like a mosaic upon the coast? Sorry.
Was there something specific you wanted to know? Do only Omoa live there? Or from it? The Omoa arrived more recently, and from the greater number, but others have joined us, so long as they call themselves subjects of the Ranganui. Some of my neighbors are Arlens, for instance. Fine people, though they care little for the sea. It sounds like you miss home. Some parts of it. Those silver cliffs, the sea, those at least no one can change. The day I boarded the sea for a deer, the sunrise was gold upon the sea, and I nearly leapt overboard and swam from home. Tell me about the city you're from, Takawa.
Takoa is doubly famed, a royal city and home to the Coral Harbor. The Ranganui's palace is there, and we've a fleet of royal ships sitting outside the Gate of Great Teeth. Every so often, you'll hear the roar of a cannon being tested.
The finest ships in Ruatoi and still the world are anchored there. And some of our brightest minds toil away at the artillery. My mother, for instance. He grins brightly. Myself, I have no talent with gunpowder, but you have a freaking rifle. Takoa is also home to the lore village, of course, and we get a great many people traveling long distances to speak with the lore keeper, or else hear the chant and pursue the books, or peruse the books. At least that is how it was when I was young. Things was a little different back then. It was a little different when I left. How so? You might say the winds are changing. The Pahari, they are traditionalists in a way. The Ranganui sun stands among their number. Talk at the dinner table has changed from how far a fleet Ruatai ships might sail to how well defended our borders are, how far we have turned from the old ways. Then talk turns to Baron Adiran and Velian merchant ships and Kanasais. Things are difficult when I left. Things were difficult when I left. There was much arguing among the elders. I trust the king has kept the peace, but I worry sometimes that things have taken a turn for the worse. So you aren't a traditionalist? Oh, I'm a regular firebrand, if you ask the other chanters. I don't see why I can't appreciate our traditions and chant a better future, but so goes the debate. So your home has a lot of artillery? Ruatoy has a lot of artillery. We've made great advances with explosives. One of our artillery masters advised on the Godhammer bomb during the Saints' War, actually. In Ruatai itself, our efforts are more modest. Bombards, cannons. We're having some luck with mortars. You might ask my sister if you ever visit Takawa. She captains the Rutawana She knows far more than I do, and enjoys every fame for it, and enjoys great fame for it. It may not be very traditional, but even the most strident demagogue won't touch the subject of artillery. They lose what support they've gathered. All right. Let's leave for now. Save that.
Sure.
It takes a smooth tongue to solve problems, doesn't it? Excuse me. The Copper Lane Market has everything you could ever want to buy. Excuse me. Welcome to Defiance Bay, but watch yourself in our city. Understand Judiciary. I'm looking for the Temple of Vodka. If you say so, it's in First Fires, just west of Crucible Bay. Okay. Temple of Vodka. And First Fires, west of Crucible Keep. Okay. Never far from the Queen.
Good day, stranger.
What can you tell me about Defiance Bay? Sorry, but I don't have time right now, but it sounds like the dozen's crockpot Rowan is stirring up trouble again. He jerks his head at the gate. He'd be all too happy to give you a rundown of the city. Liberally flavored with dozens propaganda, of course. You seem to be on edge. What's the problem? Thousands of them, truth be told. We've got refugees coming in from all parts. Under some misguided notion that things are actually better here, the legacy somehow passed us over. So they show up with no prospects and little money and just end up making a worse mess of things. He looks you up and down. No offense. Okay. Sure. Good luck to you. Anything here actually? We'll take this. And then let's hard save. What was my... Alright. Entering Defiance Bay. So we're starting off in Copper Lane. 15 minutes.
Defiance Bay.
Oh,
The city at the heart of the Deerwoods Revolution now seems on the brink of another. Refugees line the streets, homeless and hungry, displaced by Whiteone's legacy, hoping for relief within the city walls, and finding none. Dissidents congregate to protest and to heckle, calling for an end to animancy and the ouster of their duke. The city's militiamen cast fearful looks as they patrol the streets, their hands trembling at the hilts of their weapons. The capital of a country that had not long ago incinerated a god now appears to be a spark away from sharing the deity's fate.
so do we have to be here? This land is, ugh.
Nice and quiet.
Ooh, cats. Oh,
Nice and quiet.
yeah, it doesn't matter. There's too many people around.
It used to be a lot less of a mess.
Rowan, protester, judiciary. These animators have brought divine wrath upon us all. The expeditions out of Adamant's Den are just organized grave robbers. Okay. Safe. And yet the Duke and his toadies in the Crucible Knights do nothing.
Good day, stranger.
Rowan's arms are crossed and his mouth is set in a grim frown as he watches the gatherers protest. He looks ready for a fight. He sizes you up. New in town, eh? You've picked an interesting time to visit Defiance Bay. All these refugees fleeing the frontier and finding their legacies no better here. It's the Animasters, Magrin and Scorchum, and they nest in the city like rats. You mark my words though, us dozens are gonna put a stop to it. What's the dozens? He tapped his chest. We're an organization of interested citizens who want to free Defiance Bay from the dangerous influence of Animasters and the tyranny of the aristocrats who support them. We also consider ourselves a militia of sorts, seeing as the Crucible Knights are little more than a flock of preening nobles in training these days. Just like a militia that dozens, except for the training and the discipline and the code of honor. His eyes gleam, and we're always looking to expand. The more people see things our way, the better for the sake of the country. You have an interest in hearing more? Stop by Adamant's Den sometime. The Expedition Hall. A lot of free thinkers in there. Can set straight all the nonsense the nobles and the Animasters want you to believe. Might even be some paid work there for motivated types. I need to know about Defiance Bay. This is the capital of the Free Palatinate of the Drywood. We started out as the capital of the Darren colony, but we booted the blasted scepter from these lands 150 years ago. These days, we're a major port receiving trade and visitors from all over the world. But we, some of us anyway, strive to hold on to the pioneering spirit that earned us our freedom a century and a half ago. The city is divided into 5 districts: Copperland, First Fires, Audra's Gift, Brockenberry, and Heritage Hill. He ticks off each on a calloused finger. Tell me about Heritage Hill. He shivers. It used to be one of the more prestigious districts in the city. Heroes of the Revolution claimed plots up there next to an ancient Dewinton Tower in the city cemetery. Had the best view in Defiance Bay. Attracts richer type these days. A lot of Animacy patrons, he spits. He glances at the crowd and lowers his voice. You wouldn't have heard, but something happened over there a couple of months ago. The authorities sealed it off and they're keeping their mouths shut, but mark my words, Animacy is to blame. What about Copperlane? This here is Copperlane. He taps the scuffled boot on the copperstone. It's primarily a market district, but you also got the Expedition Hall directly north of here, where you can join treks into the wilds. That's also where my fellow dozen martyrs and I tend to meet up with other concerned citizens. He points to a long dome building west and north of their position. And that's the Hall of Revealed Mysteries. Every place you ask me. But they've got the biggest library in the Drywood. Kinda laughs. Airy indeed. It might be less so if my kid stepped inside. Perhaps we ought to visit Sahar. And see just what mysteries are revealed. What about Audra's Gift? Got the name because it was a wetland that was drained back in the Imperial days. Now it's a seedly district populated by sailor, common folk, and more than a few thugs. But it's a fun place too, if you know where to look. He winks and elbows you. Look for a place called the Salty Mass when you're there. Other than that, it's mostly warehouse and abandoned homes. Salty Mass. What about the First Fires? That's where the revolution started. Hence the name. These days it's overrun with politicians and panderers. But we'll take it back someday. That's where you'll find the Ducal Palace, the Valiant Embassy, and the Crucible Keep. He shakes his head. The Crucible Knights were the original freedom fighters in Defiance Bay. He shakes his head. But now they're just strutting peacocks with their eyes on fancy titles and their heads up their asses. There's an old temple of Boudica there too. We keep it real nice for her. What about the Brackenberry? A note of disgust rattles in his throat. The nobility that didn't sail back to Adair stayed there. Most of the families there trace their lineage back to old imperial times. Other than a lot of other than a lot of has-been nobility, you've got Hadred House, where Lady Webb and her spies operate, and Brackenberry Sanitarium, the main cesspit of animacy in the town. He spits on the comma stone. Let's talk about something else. What are you doing out here? He gestures at the crowd, which buzzes with angry chatter, trying to get folk to see reason. We're in the midst of a crisis, and instead of purging the nefarious forces from our city, the Duke is granting animasters dangerous liberties. What do you know about animacy? It's the study and manipulation of essence, which any sane person tells you is the purview of the gods. The Adherents at least had the sense to outlaw it, which is the only good thing you can say about them. It's not like magic, chanting, or the soul reading that ciphers do. It's been around since ancient Ewethan times, which is why you'll see animasters tinkering with old Ewethan artifacts. Connor raises a fist to cough discreetly into it. Half-truth, Saul. But he's an enthusiastic performer. I'll give him that. He shakes his head. Trouble is, the animasters got no idea what half those artifacts actually do. Not that they'll admit it. Our empathetic friend is correct about one thing, at least. Farewell. I'm not going to remember all that. How big? Oh, wow. Okay, really big. Oh, the goose and the fox. The inn that we really don't need right now. An actress and a patron. Lively place, isn't it? Actress. You'll find all sorts. Everyone's a philosopher here. This Delengarious pelt is thick with dust and moth. The plaque below the beast reads, Maiden Falls 2682. What year are we in, actually? That's what I really should have paid attention to. Is that the journal? What was the first? This is it. 2823. So we started, yeah. $28.23 AI. Welcome to the Goose and Fox. Thank you.
Good day to you.
The man behind the bar is nearly the size of an armoire. A handle protrudes from his back, and his face is set in a stoic frown. Bishop is his name. He gives you a small nod. Here for a drink? There's a tiny pewter cup in front of him. He turns it in one broad hand, but doesn't drink from it. This is a lively place. It was founded in the early days of Drywoodian independence by a traveling scholar named Errol of Levi. He wanted a place where kids of all backgrounds could gather and hash out the issues facing their own country. He rests his elbows on the polished wood of the bar. It doesn't take long for the place to fill up. Brackenberry aristocrats argue with dock workers from the gift while surgeons wrangle with politicians. Drywoodens have never been known to turn down an argument. He takes a sip from the tiny cup. What happened next? Soon, kids were coming from the farms and settlements too. He waves at the door as if expecting a crowd to bustle in. This place got even more popular with the valiant soldiers than the salty mass, and that was the problem. He drains his cup. No matter what people say about fair-mindedness and civil debate, there's only so much people will tolerate. Arrow found himself on the wrong side of an argument with the wrong Thine, and when he disappeared a few days later, some say it was the work of that Thine. He shrugs, spreading his hands over the bar as he surveys the room. But Arrow knew which way the wind was blowing. If you ask me, he skipped town. He hid out somewhere, hoping for rational minds to prevail in Defiance Bay. He cracks a smile. If only he could see it now. Tell me about yourself. Name's Bishop. Used to be a scholar of Barath. Now I run the Goose and Fox and keeps the regulars in line. He shifts and you see a war hammer strapped to his back. What time is there to tell? What more is there to tell? How'd you go from religion to taverns? The journey isn't as long as you think. It started with Hollowbarn, and with this. He takes a black bottle from under the bar and fills a pewter cup. It was my sister's son. He takes a drink. At the beginning of Waylwin's legacy, he was one of the first. I never expected there would be so many after him. Tragedy is part of the cycle, but it's followed by rebirth. Yet every year, more parents were grieving for their Hollowborn children, and the gods were silent. So you lost your faith. He leans forward, crossing his arms on the bar. Barath promises rebirth, cycles, but the only cycle I found was this one. He taps the bar. Have a drink, have another, and another, until I couldn't remember how I got home. Wake up, come back. I finally woke up one day to see my family had packed up and left. For all I know, they left days before, and I just hadn't noticed. But they were gone, so I came here. I've cleaned up since then, not that I found my answers. He tosses the cup back. I've just stopped asking questions. I ordered some refreshments. Uh, what all do you have? Ooh. Okay. Endurance 2 might. We're gonna stop at 4. That's it. Save. Um, 3. Wait, that does what? Yeah, endurance and con. You'll take the other 3. And then oh, there you go. Here. Okay. Scrolls. Oh, against restraint. We get on. I'm not doing that one yet. Flame, endurance, sickened and weakened, defense. I did not realize that. Son of a gun. That's also one. Potions. So many, that's just one we can do. Iron skin. Let's do that. And then restraint. And defense. Okay. I'm giving you mirrored eldritch doubled. What level is this? 40 until hit. 25. Let's save this one. Let's put this. And oh man. Oh, that's annoying. So instead, restraint. No, I hate that. Give you this. Can you actually? What's your lore? You have higher lore than every. No. Then let's give you the restraint. Swap out. Okay. Save.